Okay, so today we're diving into something, a listener sent this to us, and it's really interesting. It's about what happens when, like, personal choices, like, run right into these really strong cultural traditions.
Yeah.
And specifically, we're looking at the 17-year-old guy. He's in his last year of high school, and he made a big choice about his circumcision, and
Right.
it's kind of butting heads with his traditional beliefs?
Yeah, it's fascinating how this is, where modern medicine meets these like deeply rooted cultural norms, right?
Right.
And it becomes about way more than just like a medical procedure.
Right.
It's about identity, it's about how families work and like what it means to even become a man. Like in this specific culture, it's your
Yeah.
emotions and the different generations involved
Yeah.
make this like super interesting.
Yeah, this story, like the one you sent us about this guy and like what he's dealing with his dad and everything, it sets up exactly what we want to like dig into today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we really want to like understand everybody's like motivations, and
Yeah.
see like what bigger cultural and emotional stuff is going on.
Right.
So first, let's like unpack the situation that led to this guy's decision, like
Sure.
what was going on in his life.
Well, from what we know, his parents are separated.
Okay.
And his mom has been like the main parent raising him.
Mm-hmm.
And she's had some money problems,
Okay.
which, might have affected him growing up. And his dad has been like mostly absent
Right.
and hasn't really helped out financially. So
Right.
that's created some distance between him and his son.
Yeah, so with all that going on in his family,
Yeah.
he makes this big decision. He chooses to have a medical circumcision
Mhm.
because of his mom's money problems.
Right.
And this wasn't just like a random choice.
No,
Sounds
no.
like there's more to it.
Yeah, you mentioned that his dad had said before that he wouldn't pay for a circumcision,
Right.
and that really stuck with the son.
Mm-hmm.
And while he told his mom he was okay with the medical option,
Right.
it seems like he mostly did it so she wouldn't have to worry about money,
Yeah.
which shows like a lot of maturity for a 17-year-old
Right.
thinking about his family like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about saving money. It was like him taking control
Right.
in a tough situation and putting his family first, even before like a traditional ceremony.
Exactly. And this is when it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
So his dad wasn't around for the medical circumcision,
Right.
but now he comes back and says his son has to go to traditional initiation school
Wow.
after he graduates next year, and he's only talking to his son about this,
Interesting.
not to the mom at all.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going on with the dad? Like, why is he doing this now?
Well, the dad talking directly to the son,
Mm-hmm.
it might seem like he just wants to connect with his kid,
Yeah.
but it could be deeper than that.
Okay.
Like maybe he's trying to show he's still the dad,
Right.
and that his culture is important, especially after being gone for so long.
Right.
Or maybe he doesn't want to fight with the mom.
Yeah.
Maybe because he wasn't there for them or didn't help with money.
Mm-hmm.
But this puts the son in a tough spot,
Yeah.
caught between his parents
Yeah.
and what he already decided. And the fact that the dad's not talking to the mom.
Yeah.
It could be like him trying to take charge again,
Okay.
using his connection with his son to maybe get around the mom disagreeing.
So let's talk about the main difference here.
Okay.
Traditional initiation versus medical circumcision.
Right.
For people who don't know, can you explain what traditional initiation means in a lot of African cultures?
It's not just a physical thing. It's like
Right.
this whole experience where
Yeah.
you teach young guys about their history, their laws, their values, like through stories and mentors and stuff. It's a huge deal. It marks becoming a man.
Right.
It has rituals and teachings about their society,
Okay.
responsibilities, history.
Mm-hmm.
It's all time together with other people.
Right.
It's a time of learning discipline, becoming close with other guys going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And the circumcision is just one part of this whole big cultural thing.
And that's super different from just getting it done at a hospital, right?
Yeah,
They're
that's
like
right.
totally different things.
Right. Medical circumcision is basically surgery done for health reasons.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have all those rituals and teachings
Yeah.
and the community recognition that comes with traditional initiation.
Right.
So the dad is basically saying the medical thing wasn't enough
Right.
for his son to really become a man in their culture.
Which must be so hard on this guy.
Yeah.
He's finishing high school, he's got exams,
Mm.
and now he's got this huge cultural and family pressure.
Yeah.
It's got to be stressful.
Oh, absolutely. It's probably a huge burden on him.
Right.
He wants to respect his dad's culture,
Yeah.
which is a big deal in so many societies.
Right.
But he also wants to stand by his decision,
Mm-hmm.
which we know he made out of responsibility for his mom.
Right.
And on top of that, he might feel pressure from his community,
Yeah.
where medical circumcision might not be seen as the same as
Okay.
traditional initiation,
Yeah.
depending on how close his community is and like how important his dad is.
Yeah.
This could be anything from like subtle exclusion
Right.
to people straight up saying he didn't do it right.
Wow.
And the way his dad's communicating, going straight to him,
Yeah.
not talking to the mom.
Right.
It probably makes him feel stuck in the middle even more.
Yeah. It makes you think about all the pressure young people face
Mm-hmm.
in situations like this.
And what's it like long term to make such a big decision
Right.
so young?
So what are the big themes here?
Okay.
Like the emotional and cultural stuff that's really at play.
Well, a lot of things are connected here.
Mhm.
You see this tension between cultural identity,
Yeah.
which the dad represents through traditional initiation,
Right.
and personal choice,
Mm-hmm.
which is what the son did.
Right.
And there's emotional sacrifice for family,
Yeah.
the son putting his mom first.
Right.
And it also shows the balance between respecting your elders,
Mm-hmm.
but also being independent,
Yeah.
which he already did with his first decision.
Right.
And ultimately, it's classic generational and cultural conflict.
Right.
Dad's got the old values,
Yeah.
son's dealing with modern life, but still connected to his heritage.
So given all that, what challenges is this guy likely facing right now?
Well, he's definitely getting pressure from his dad
Yeah.
about their culture, and that can be really hard to deal with
Mm-hmm.
without causing a big family fight.
Right.
He might also be seen negatively in his community
Right.
because he didn't do the traditional initiation
Yeah.
and the whole parent situation
Yeah.
already strained,
Right.
and now worse with the dad not talking to the mom.
Yeah.
It puts even more stress on him.
And even though he made a good decision at first, the way
Yeah.
his dad's reacting.
Could make him feel guilty
Right.
and doubt himself.
So what can he do? Like, what are some ways he could handle this?
Well, he's got to be careful and respectful
Yeah.
to everyone involved.
Right.
The most important thing is to talk openly and honestly with his dad.
Okay.
He needs to explain his decision calmly and respectfully
Yeah.
and make sure his dad knows that he gets it,
Okay.
that he understands his dad's cultural expectations.
Yeah.
He should explain that he chose the medical option because of his mom's money problems.
Right.
And not because he doesn't care about their traditions.
Right.
Like maybe he could say something like,
Yeah.
Dadan diazi kuba kudafwasa yinto ankulu,
Mm-hmm.
dielanifa maisiko etho,
Mm-hmm.
kodwasan dendijongo ogunzima impuzayo emalini,
Yeah.
Diakukirhangoba benigafuni ukafaka, mama kwingsaki yamali.
Right.
Andikoli yukongalonifi isiko,
Mhm.
kodla bendigum kuseli, mama.
Yeah.
Of course he should use his own words.
Right.
And think about how he usually talks to his dad.
Right.
But something like that could be a good start.
Yeah, that's important. Explaining why he did what he did
Yeah,
and showing respect for his dad's beliefs.
exactly.
So what else could he do to try and find a solution?
He should also set boundaries,
Okay.
but respectfully.
Yeah.
He could say that he feels like the medical circumcision was enough for him
Right.
and maybe suggest other ways to honor their tradition
Okay.
without going to initiation school.
Yeah.
Like he could say, Ndiaya kwanda into Yokoba and Lawulo Yamasiko Iborulekibe,
Mm-hmm.
Kurwandiva and Dasikwa,
Right.
Gaba Singakwazi Yukufumana Indala Yukubunisa Ukuba,
Yeah.
and the Pando Kukuti Sikovini.
Right.
Maybe they could look into some symbolic gestures,
Yeah.
or he could learn more about the cultural teachings, or
Mhm.
do other activities that are important to their culture
Right.
to show that he's becoming a man.
That makes sense. Finding some kind of compromise seems key.
Yeah,
Are there other things he could try? I mean, maybe involving family or people in his community?
for sure.
Okay.
Talking to a trusted elder or relative could really help,
Okay.
especially if his dad's not bucking.
Mm-hmm.
An elder could be like a mediator
Right.
and explain things from a cultural perspective
Yeah.
that could bridge the gap between them.
Yeah.
And like you said,
Mm-hmm.
he could find ways to connect with his culture
Right.
that aren't about initiation school,
Okay.
like learning about their history and values or
Mhm.
participating in ceremonies that aren't tied to that.
Okay.
And maybe he could encourage his parents to talk directly
Yeah.
so he's not stuck in the middle.
So how do you think this could all play out? Like, what are some possible outcomes?
Well, it depends on if everyone's willing to understand and
Right.
compromise.
Yeah.
The best case is that they talk openly and respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
and the dad sees why his son made this decision.
Right.
And it could even bring them closer.
Yeah.
They could also compromise, find some middle ground,
Mm-hmm.
like a symbolic rite of passage
Yeah.
that honors the dad's culture,
Right.
but also respects the son's choice.
Okay.
But we got to be real. There's a chance the dad won't budge,
Right.
and then the son might have to stand up for himself,
Yeah.
which could cause problems in the family.
Yeah.
But over time, if he's confident and clear about his decision,
Right.
his friends and community might come to accept it.
Right.
So there are lots of ways it could go.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what are your main recommendations for this guy?
I think he should focus on talking to his dad
Okay.
openly and respectfully,
Hmm.
and always showing that he values his culture,
Right.
and he needs to try and find the compromise
Yeah.
that honors tradition, but doesn't make him go back on his decision.
Okay.
And if he needs to, he should ask a trusted person
Yeah.
in his family or community to help.
Hmm.
And he should remember his first decision was mature
Right.
and responsible,
Yeah.
and he did it out of love for his family.
Right.
It's about finding that balance
Yeah.
between his own independence
Right.
and his connection to his culture.
This has been such an interesting look at how personal freedom and cultural tradition can clash,
Right.
especially during those big life changes. Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway is how mature this guy was
Mm-hmm.
in making his decision.
Yeah.
It was thoughtful and came from love
Right.
and responsibility.
Yeah.
It shows how to deal with tough family situations
Yeah.
and cultural expectations
Right.
with real care.
And for you listening, think about this guy's story and ask yourself,
Yeah.
where in your own life do you have to balance your own choices
Right.
with traditions? Where do you see the same kind of tension in your community, your family, even within yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Something to think about
Yeah,
even after today.
definitely.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.